Close your eyes. Red. Hey guys, today is finally the day that I talk about my experience listening to the Gateway tapes, which had an entire CIA section about them. So let's get into it. First, I'm going to explain a little bit more about the Gateway tapes in general. The Gateway tapes are guided meditations mixed with binaural beats, and they were created by Robert Monroe specifically with the intention of teaching people how to have out-of-body experiences and join the astral realm. Now, the reason why the CIA was so interested in this was because, obviously, during the times, this was like the 70s, 80s, there was a lot of spy stuff going on. So they thought that, hey, if we can go into the astral realm and find some secrets of somebody, that'd be great. So they actually had a full experiment and documented people's experiences with the Gateway tapes. Now, I'm not going to go super detailed into like the background and lore of all of this because this video is mostly meant to be my experience and how I feel about the tapes in general. And disclaimer, this is not the first time that I've listened to the Gateway tapes actually. I believe the first time was whenever I was around 13 or like 14. So that would be like 7 years ago, basically, that I have known of these Gateway tapes. And the reason why I knew about these Gateway tapes was, as I discussed in my subliminal video, that I was very interested in the concept of reality shifting, and in the community that I was in, the Gateway tapes were shared around a lot as a way to shift into another reality. But for this listening session in particular, I was really focusing on just trying to have an out-of-body experience in general. That was the main thing that I was looking for. So now we can go into wave 1. Orientation. And I actually have notes that I wrote after every single night that I listened to these. So I did also have to go back every now and then just to like retrace my steps and feel more confident going into the next tapes. So I'm going to read out my actual entries, and warning, they are kind of silly because I wrote them literally right as I like snapped out of it, basically, but I'll give more nuance to it after I read the entries each time. So wave 1, orientation. Felt good. Relaxed. My body felt very light and kind of disorienting. At one point I felt like I was being compressed in a weird way, like I was built like the Crooked Man. Once it went to focus 3, my mind went every which way imaginable. It was like all my thoughts went from being in a cage in my brain to butterflies flying everywhere. It was weird. The breathing exercise was nice and calming. The countdown to wake up was kind of trippy since I could feel myself waking up, and I was cold when I went to focus 3. I was buzzing a little bit. Pins and needles. So I'm going to explain what some of that means, and the Gateway tapes at the beginning of all of them, they give your like building exercises to get into the different focus levels. And to get into the main meditative state, there are 4 main exercises, which are the energy conversion box, which is either visualizing or thinking or whatever you need to do, of a box that you put all of your thoughts, your physical body, like anything that you don't need for the experience, you put it in this box and you take it out of your mind so you can fully clear yourself. And then the second one is the resonant tuning, which is this humming sound mixed with some more binaural beats, and it's supposed to match your breathing so it can get you, again, matching your breathing further into the state. And then third, you have the energy balloon, which is supposed to be like basically inflating your aura, if that makes sense, to like make you like protected in the astral realm. I don't know. It's like putting energy all over your body. It's supposed to flow from your head all the way to your toes. That's what I remember. And then the fourth is the affirmations beginning in I am more than my physical body, and that is an entire mantra that is, again, just supposed to get you really locked in and your head really in the game. And you need all of those to get into what is called Focus 10, which is what the next tape is about. And this is what I said about it. Trippy. Still cold when going into Focus 3 because of no blanket. I felt very aware / in tune with my body. Focus 3 felt very soothing. Felt like I was one with the cushions of the bed. I could visualize my surroundings a little bit. Felt like I was fighting going into a dream because of how much my mind wanders into random scenarios. And that is true. That is, I think, one of the hardest challenges of trying to like meditate and stay focused, is because I have a million miles of thoughts going at all times. So when I'm really able to like fully like keep my brain focused on it, it's great, but I struggled with it at the beginning especially. I was also trying to do this in like a full starfish position, just trying to like have no like, I don't know, like sensory deprivation experience basically, but it didn't work. And I still struggled going into the third tape, which was Advanced Focus 10. And it was pretty hard to focus this time too. My visualization of the box, like the energy conversion box, was getting better, and the energy shield felt like light going over me. I took a nap afterwards, and I feel like I was told something really important before I woke up, but I have no idea what that could have been. So honestly, because it's been so long, I genuinely don't remember either. There are some tapes that do include listening out and hearing for messages. So in hindsight, that's actually really interesting that in the earlier tapes, I thought that was happening, when in the later tapes, they try to do that on purpose. So stay tuned. We can go to the fourth tape, Release and Recharging. I tried doing this one like 3 times, and then I got sick and took a break from the tapes for like a week. I really liked this tape a lot because it felt a lot like shadow work, having to grab my fears and pent-up emotions to release them. I felt pretty tingly, and at the end I did feel overall really light, and started to see some stuff moving behind my eyes, but nothing other than that. And I did have issues focusing on one point because of loud neighbors. And again, it's one of those things where I think in a perfect universe it would have been a whole lot easier in just like a dark, quiet shed in the middle of nowhere. And that's one of the reasons why there was actually the Gateway Institute, which was an actual physical location that people could go and have their journey like in an actual institution. So that was a thing at some point. And now we'll go on to the fifth tape, Exploration, Sleep. This is the most interesting one so far to me. You were actually encouraged to sleep. It felt a lot more like hypnosis with the counting up and down to wake up and go to sleep. Getting to Focus 10 was a whole lot easier by this point. One of the sections was about remembering who you are with frequency, and the thumping I heard just kept making me visualize being a rabbit running through a snowy forest with images of mountain lions' eyes flashing in my brain. Also, literally, it was because I was really thinking about Jujutsu Kaisen. Like, I had recently watched some of the last episodes during this tape, so that is an influence at this point. This was also the first one I remember actually being instructed to go outside of my body. I will admit that I did feel like I was like an inch higher out of my body, if that makes any sense, and since I was instructed to roll over slowly like a floating log, I was on my side, and I don't know if it was a literal instruction, like I actually did genuinely turn over. Also, when I felt like I was floating, I saw like a brightness of dark blue and green, and since I was on my side, it felt like it was like the separation between my consciousness and my body, maybe? I don't know. And then the final tape of the wave was just a free flow Focus 10. So, a free flow, to me, like, I know it's important to like actually practice your meditative and astral state and all of that, but I see free flows as basically like a free pass, because there's no instruction. It's just like, alright, go into the meditative state. Okay, silence for 30 minutes. Bye. And actually, it looks like I was wrong, because the last tape was Introduction to Focus 12. My bad. Now, this tape was super cool because rather than staying in Focus 12 once you entered it, you were instructed to go back to Focus 10, then enter Focus 12 again with the intent to explore the state even deeper. Robert Monroe also started off the tape with a nice speech about how by now in the tapes you should feel and truly believe that you're more than your physical body. Which, I mean, with the way that this tape made me feel, I do, kind of believe it. It was really weird, but I can only describe first entering Focus 12 as like the back of my eyes being a brighter color, and it felt like the eyeballs or like my vision was higher in my skull. Like usually in Focus 10, like I feel like my vision is right here, but when I'm in Focus 12 it feels like I'm like looking out of like right here, if that makes sense. But now we can enter Wave 2, Threshold. And this is whenever the tapes start getting into the whole, like, messages from your higher spirit, messages from your guide, stuff like that. So, like I said, it was really weird that I had that super early on when I wasn't supposed to. This one was an exercise on how to get answers from your higher self. I still felt the same elevated feeling in my eyes going from Focus 10 to Focus 12. My mind was wandering a bit during this tape, but with the whole premise being stating your question and problem and getting it answered, I think, maybe I can cut myself slack, because it's my higher self, and, all forms of myself are extremely chatty. But also, I did note that apparently I got, forced out of the meditative state at the end because I had a crazy twitch in my left toe. Okay. Now, the next tapes are specifically exercises that aren't exactly related to astral projection, but are related to the astral plane and manipulating your own energy. And it is, largely connected to the, foundational, starter techniques that I talked about before. This one is color breathing. So, green, visualizing the color green is supposed to be, good vibes and stress, it's supposed to flow out of your feet. That's how they described it. And then red is supposed to equal bravery and strength for your actions. So if you're nervous or you don't know what to do, you just have to think, close your eyes, red. And then visualizing purple is supposed to be for healing and restoration. It's supposed to be good for just general, therapeutic purposes and rewiring negative thoughts. This one, I can't admit I actually use because if I'm, really mad in the car or something like that because somebody's driving super bad, I'll just go, green. Obviously, when I'm at a stoplight, I don't freaking close my eyes while driving. But anyways, the next thing that you practice with in a tape is the energy bar tool. I really did not understand the concept or use for this one at all. It was just using the energy bar tool. It's supposed to be holding a tube light of your energy and it changes colors. Cool. Maybe it's supposed to be a visualization to hold on to the colors, the color breathing stuff. But I just visualize the color. I don't need the bar. I don't know. And then the next one is living body maps. I'm not gonna lie, I fell asleep after this one immediately, so this note is from the morning after. It was the same as the energy bar tool, but it was changing basically the aura around your body from white to different colors. I did not go into Focus 12 for any of these, and it appears to just be exercises to further be able to visualize the world around you. But now we can finally get into some astral projection. Finally! Wave 3, Freedom, Liftoff. This tape consisted of using the resonant energy balloon that I was talking about earlier, how you have to and expand your aura. You were supposed to use that to lift your consciousness out of your body. I don't remember much of this tape since it was really repetitive, but I did feel a tiny bit lighter. Apparently this can be called a click out, according to the Gateway Tapes Reddit. And a click out is basically meant to mean that your body just, your brain just skips the entire thing. I personally think that I just fell asleep, but I don't know. But now we can get into the juicy stuff with Wave 3 Freedom, remote viewing. Whew. I'm sorry, but I actually found out that I messed up this tape the first time because I found out you were actually supposed to have a partner hide things in the house for you to find in the astral realm. The entire point of this tape was to have somebody put a tissue, and I forgot what else it was, and they were supposed to hide them inside of the house, and you were supposed to remote view and use your intuition or astral project around the house, find where they were, and potentially manipulate them. I did not want to ask anybody to help me. So I checked out the Gateway Tapes Reddit, and somebody suggested pulling 2 tarot cards, and I have those, so I did that. I pulled 2 cards, and while I was listening to the tape, my gut was telling me reversed white cat, 2 of something, and the number 6. Specifically on the card closest to me because I pulled 2. And what do you know it? Cat with a white center, 2 paws, and 6 stars. Reversed Knight of Swords. For the cotton balls, I visualized the tissues next to my bed moving and exploding, but they did not. And I was wrong, it wasn't tissues in the tape, it was cotton balls in the tape, but I didn't have those. So I visualized the tissues next to my bed moving and exploding, but, they didn't, so. Not a firebender, guys, sorry. And now Wave 3, Freedom, Vectors. Oh yeah, Vectors. This tape was a lot about practicing your directional skills when outside of your body, perceiving different numbers and focuses and moving towards them in various ways. I did not have an out-of-body experience with this one but it did feel really weird to try and make my mind think I was moving. And once again, asking my higher self some questions is Wave 3 Freedom. 5 questions. The entire premise of this tape is to answer 5 questions. I'm gonna say 5 questions 5 million times. But the unfortunate part about this track was because there were a bunch of versions online that were like glitched out, so it like kicks you out of the meditative state immediately because there's like I know you guys hate that sound. And I did ask some questions and I didn't like really get like full clear answers. So I can't explain. Like that's it. I just didn't have any answers. But even if I did, would I tell you? Would I tell you? And the next one was really weird because it's Wave 3 energy food. I did not resonate with this one at all. It was literally meant to be like, okay, use your energy and you're gonna visualize yourself feeling full and now you're full. That doesn't work with me. That doesn't work with me. It doesn't. And then the next one was super weird. It was first stage separation. I straight up had to do this one legitimately 5 times. Why is 5 the number of this video? 555? What about it? What about it? Comment 555 if you're at this point of the video. For some reason, once the guy says to roll out of my body, I just go into this deep void of like awareness. Like it's just like whew, complete black, nothingness. And then I snap back in like every single time around 25 minutes when he says to roll back in. Like, I straight up had a theory that at this point my astral body was just hanging out without me. And this is where it started to get really interesting for me, and I got really like deep and fully like, I felt really connected and I felt really good about the progress I had so far. With the next tape, 1 year patterning. In this tape, you're instructed to visualize yourself exactly a year from when you listened while in Focus 12. This one, for some reason, was extremely intense for me. The room was dark and I couldn't tell if my eyes were open or not, but I swear he talks about exactly 1 year from now, and it felt like I was slightly elevated and like my eyes were open. When I snapped out of it, I was 8 minutes into the next tape. I didn't even know it ended. So I think I'm on the right track. Because then there's a free play with Free Flow 12, which was just practicing being in Focus 12. And now we can adventure into NVC 1 and NVC 2. These were specifically about NVC, nonverbal communication. So it was supposed to be deep visualization mixed with intuition. It was simple things in the first one like squares, spheres, and other shapes, and then the second one included things like a running dog. The way that it was described in the tapes to work is that through NVC, if somebody says, hey, can you get me my glasses? With the power of NVC, you can automatically understand if they mean get my glasses, as in these kinds of glasses, or sunglasses, or drink glasses, that kind of thing. And those skills were used in the next tape called Calm Point 12. This one was the same skills as the NVC tapes, but this time was meant to be reaching out to communicate with somebody that knows and loves you. And they didn't say to pick anybody, so this was just reach out to somebody that knows and loves you. Just reach out. I didn't get any like words or specific messages, but I did specifically note I did see someone hopping onto a wagon at train tracks, and it honestly felt like I was dreaming while awake, like a lucid kind of thing, because I remember having a bunch of different scenery around me and different glimpses of stuff, but I don't actually recall much. And now next we go into Wave 5, Exploring. The first tape was just about getting used to Advanced Focus 12, so again, a pretty simple one, but we go further into the next tape, Discovering Intuition. It's Advanced Focus 12 and harnessing the feeling of intuition to better know what's going to happen. So the way that the exercise worked was specifically imagine and visualize a time where you predicted something would happen and you were correct. Identify that feeling, think about the feeling that you had when you said it originally, and keep that feeling, understand it, hold on to it. That was like the main exercise. And then the next tape after that, Exploring Intuition, was basically the same, just expanded upon. That is how a lot of these tapes are nearing the end, because they're like part 2s, where it's like, okay, now you know how to do it, now you can be in the big boys club. But new focus unlocked with Intro to Focus 15. So Focus 15 is meant to put you on the energy level of specifically your desired reality, ooh, this is the reason why those shifting communities liked it so much. It felt like I was super, like even deeper immersed in the black void behind my eyes, if that makes sense. I could start to see like different colors as well. This state is also meant to be specifically described as the feeling of no time. And the next one I experienced was mission, creation, manifestation, which, again, another huge one. Like, all of the, like, shifting subliminal manifestation LOA girlies love Wave 5, if they knew about it. So, you know, hopefully with this video they do know about it. Like, guys, subscribe. Because this specific tape allows you to unlock the ability to manifest whatever you want, specifically using the phrase plus create now, plus manifest now. Note, I will say, disclaimer, do not immediately skip to Wave 5 to this tape. That's not how these are supposed to work. You have to actually, like, practice and make your way up for it to, like, fully, you know, seep into your brain. So, just know. I got excited. I made that mistake the first time. I get it. And then the next tape was Exploring Focus 15, so it was just practicing being in the same state, and I didn't really like have anything specific in mind to manifest at this point, so I just kind of like chilled. I was just like in the void, I was like Napstablook in Undertale, straight up. And now, after practicing and working hard and going through the tapes, we can go into the final one written by Robert Monroe, which is Wave 6, Odyssey. By this point, Robert Monroe had passed away. He passed away in 1995, so Wave 5 and Wave 6 were partially voiced by other people. Wave 6 Odyssey starts with Sensing Locale. This is a tape designed for getting used to what is called Locale 1, a state where you're outside of your body, but not super far away. I felt a little floaty and like there was light behind my eyes, but it wasn't extremely intense. I just felt like a okay, sorry. And now the next tape is Expansion of Locale. Now, I know I've been kind of trash talking the expanding, focus, free flow, like I've been trash talking those tapes, but this one was the first like full actual glimpse of an out-of-body experience that I had. Like, I am pretty like 98% confident that it was like some form of an out-of-body experience. This tape is just for getting more accustomed to Locale 1, and there was a moment where I could literally feel like I was floating in the middle of the room and looking at the ceiling fan. Like, I was like laying, and I couldn't tell if my eyes were open or not, but I could just like see just like the lines of the ceiling fan. It was weird. And Point of Departure, the next tape, was similar to the past ones where it's meant to give you kind of like trigger to get into the next state and to be able to astral project. What was super like honestly unsettling about this tape to me was that the first time that I did this one, I like jolted out of my body in like a panic whenever the narrator had said to look at your own physical body. I just like, it was like, take a look at your physical body, and I just go, ugh. Like, it spooked me for some reason. And it was like extremely hard trying to imagine rolling out of my body. But then we go into non-physical friends. So this tape instructs you to have 4 specific guides to help you move out of your physical body. Well, it's not a specific guides. I didn't have anybody in mind. And for both this tape and the previous one, it felt like I had like some kind of like blockage to like my energy balloon or whatever it's called. Like, it felt like I had like a really heavy blanket or a binding, like I couldn't move any higher out of my body, if that makes sense. And I specifically noted here that I was not under blankets for this one, so that was also especially weird. And now we expand into the next tape, Movement to Locale 2. Now this one I don't really remember all of that much. Now, this tape was specifically being able to get further out of your body, and I did feel like that blockage of like blankets or binding or whatever was gone, but I didn't necessarily feel like I went anywhere further. And then we end with a free flow journey in Focus 21. Now, Focus 21 is supposed to be your connection to other energy systems. Now, with this one, it was super late in the middle of the night, and I was just like trying to go to sleep. I was trying to relax. I was trying to just melt my mind away. I was like, okay, just ease everything out. I just want to like not think. I just want to relax. and it was almost like I got tinnitus or something. I just felt like this rumbling in my ears, and then I woke up and it was like 2 hours later. Like, it was so weird. But that was the final tape that I had listened to. Now, I do know that there is Wave 7 and Wave 8, but those aren't part of the actual original series that Robert Monroe had created. The original Wave 7 and Wave 8 was actually just binaural beats with no, like, overlaying guided meditation at all. But I will definitely make a follow-up video for you guys if you want to know my experience with those two tapes as well. And I have not stopped meditating or trying to be in like a focus 21 or focus 15. I haven't stopped doing those. It's actually part of my almost nightly routine, because it's honestly a really good way to just calm my mind and get myself ready for bed. And also I just feel like it makes me feel soothed. Like, it calms me down. I don't know. Just feels nice. And if you're wondering where I heard these tapes, I found just random little YouTube channels that thankfully hadn't been taken down yet. Man, there have been so many times. I first started off on Spotify at the beginning whenever I was starting for this video, and then I had to switch over to YouTube because the Spotify playlist I was listening to got taken down because I did not want to pay for the actual physical tapes, and also I would have to buy like a device to listen to it and everything for the actual physical tapes. I remember whenever I first listened to these tapes, whenever I was like 13, that I listened to them on YouTube, I listened to them on Reddit, I listened to them on SoundCloud, and what else was it? I'm pretty sure I also listened to them on archive.org at some point. So there are options out there to get it for free. It's just you gotta like hop between different platforms because they systematically get taken down randomly. But yeah, that is my experience with the Gateway tapes. I do honestly feel more like connected to my own energy and more like in control of my emotions and my like frequency state, if that makes any sort of sense. I do feel like it was a great point to even use these tapes. Like, it was a good idea for me. But if you've listened to these tapes, let me know your experience. Or if you've had any out-of-body experiences in general, I do want to know about those. And if you really liked this video, you can hit that like button because that gives me that sweet, sweet dopamine to keep making these videos. If you want to see even more of them, you can hit that subscribe button. And if you want to support me to make even more of the videos, you can check out my Ko-Fi, which right now I have a goal to do witchcraft at the arcade. So I want to see how many prizes I can get. Maybe I can like meditate the night beforehand and like go in and check the prizes. I don't know. I'll see. But for now, have a great rest of your day and stay focused. Focus 15, that is. Ooh. Me when I astral project to your mom's house. Oh.